what I was young, I always learn, if you give, the God gonna give you the double.
When I was 13 years of age, I decided to get baptized.
For me, the only reason for those kind of things is God.
That's the answer the most famous footballer alive gives when you ask him about God. Not at Christmas, not when the cameras are rolling for some sponsor. Every single week, Cristiano Ronaldo walks into a Catholic church. And here's the part that stops people cold. He says he never goes there to ask for anything. He only goes to say thank you. Now that's Cristiano Ronaldo, a man who lives in Saudi Arabia. A man half the planet quietly assumes left all of that behind, somewhere between Madrid and Riyadh. And it turns out, he keeps a private chapel inside his own home. But here's what most people don't realize. Ronaldo isn't the only one. He isn't even the most surprising one on this list. I've got 8 soccer legends, 8 of the most famous, most worshipped athletes on earth who follow Jesus. Some of them shout it from the rooftops. One of them was reportedly paid a fortune to stay silent. And number 3 on this list, I promise you, you won't see that one coming. Here's the thing about superstars and faith. The world tells you a story. The bigger the name, the brighter the lights, the less a man needs God. 80,000 people chant your name on a Saturday afternoon, and you become the closest thing a stadium has to a God of its own. Success replaces prayer. The trophy becomes the new altar.
No puedo pedir más de todo lo que recibí, como lo dije muchas veces, gracias a Dios me regaló demasiado y todo lo que viene ahora es.
The stadium becomes the new sanctuary. And for a lot of people, that story makes sense. But something's been happening quietly, out on the grass, that completely breaks that narrative.
Since what I was young, I always learn, if you give, the God gonna give you the double. So this is what's happened in my life.
The most famous athletes on the planet keep dropping to their knees the second the whistle blows.
E depois disso, enfim, são muitas experiências que eu fui tendo com Deus.
And after that, I had many experiences with God.
They keep pointing at the sky. They keep pulling their jerseys up to show an undershirt that says they belong to somebody else. One of them scored a miracle in the 95th minute, the same year he lost his father, and pointed straight to heaven.
For me, the only reason for those kind of things is God, and he put his hand on my head today, and I'm feeling really blessed.
One was reportedly offered a fortune every month to stop mentioning Jesus, and refused. One got baptized at 46. These aren't cultural Christians slapping a cross emoji on an Instagram post. Some of these men have built their whole public identity around the name of Jesus Christ, in front of the biggest audiences on earth. Paul put it like a coach. Everyone who competes goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. We do it to get a crown that will. 1 Corinthians 9. So I'm going to give you all 8, ranked from solid to absolutely stunning. And I promise the intensity only goes up from here. Before we start, if you love what this is, the real stories of faith that nobody else is telling, do me a quick favor. Like the video, subscribe, and send this to one friend who needs a lift today. All right, let's get into it. Moment number 1, Kaká. Brazil. Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League winner, and for my money, the gold standard of faith in the history of the modern game.
Eu cresci num lar cristão.
I grew up in a Christian home.
Meus pais sempre me educaram com os valores e os princípios bíblicos.
My parents always raised me by teaching Christian principles.
E aos poucos eu fui tendo as minhas experiências com Deus.
And little by little, I began to have my own experiences with God.
We start with the one you probably already know, but the details might surprise you. Go back to 2007, the Champions League final in Athens. Kaká wins it, and the second the whistle blows, he drops to his knees on the pitch, pulls off his shirt, and underneath is a plain white undershirt with 4 words across the chest. I belong to Jesus. That wasn't a marketing stunt. He was baptized at 13, and he has never once wavered.
Quando eu tinha 13 anos, eu me decidi batizar.
When I was 13 years of age, I decided to get baptized.
Years later, he stood up in front of a packed university hall and put it as plainly as a person can.
E depois disso, enfim, são muitas experiências que eu fui tendo com Deus.
And after that, I had many experiences with God.
I grew up in a Christian home. When I was 13 years of age, I decided to get baptized, and after that, I had many experiences with God. And then the line that sets up this entire video.
Eu vi que eu não podia não transparecer realmente quem eu era.
I saw that I wasn't really able to hide who I really was.
Eu não posso deixar de... Esse sou eu.
I told him I cannot deny myself. This is who I am.
Whenever I score goals and I lift my hands up, it's just a way of thanking him for having given me this gift. That's the whole thesis in one sentence.
Então, quando eu faço os gols e levanto as mãos para o céu,
Whenever I score goals and I lift my hands up,
mas é um agradecimento pelo talento que ele me deu e está fazendo uma coisa que realmente eu amo.
it's just a way of thanking him for having given me this gift and also enabling me to do something I love to do.
Jesus said, "Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven." Matthew 10. Kaká acknowledged him in front of 80,000 people and a global television audience, and he's been doing it his entire career. Moment number 2. And if you think that's powerful, this one takes it somewhere much deeper. Take a breath before this one. Alisson Becker, Liverpool's goalkeeper, one of the best on earth. In February of 2021, Alisson's father drowned at a dam near the family's holiday home in Brazil. And Alisson was stuck in England, kept away by the pandemic, unable to even be with his family. 3 months later, Liverpool are desperate for a win, deep into stoppage time, and a corner swings in. And the goalkeeper, comes charging the length of the field and heads the ball into the net. 95th minute, the first goal ever scored by a Liverpool keeper in a competitive match. And then they put a camera in his face, tears streaming down it. And this is what came out.
For me, the only reason for those kind of things is God, and he put his hand on my head today, and I'm feeling really blessed. This is what we feel, the love from God. This is the way God loves us, through people.
For me, the only reason for those kind of things is God. And he put his hand on my head today, and I'm feeling really blessed. I'm sure that he's seeing with God on his side and celebrating.
I'm sure that he's seeing with God on his side and celebrating.
He's talking about his dad. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you God arranged a corner kick. That's Alisson's testimony, his own way of making sense of an impossible night, and I'm going to let it be his. But listen to what Scripture promises plainly. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34. On the highest night of his career, a grieving son looked straight past the miracle to the one he believed was holding him. Moment number 3, and this is the one I told you would not see coming. Neymar. He grew up in a Baptist church in Sao Paulo, and as a kid, he wore a headband that said 100% Jesus, a gift from his mother when he was 11 years old. That part is well documented. But here's the part that made headlines.
Anything that might damage the image of the club by talking about Jesus Christ, God, the Bible, he won't discuss it.
When Neymar was playing in Paris, a Spanish newspaper reported, and a Christian news outlet later confirmed the reporting, that his contract allegedly contained a clause paying him a fortune every single month to avoid what they called religious propaganda. In plain English, a report claimed the club was paying him extra to stop talking about Jesus. I want to be careful and fair here. Neymar himself has never confirmed that clause on camera. So I'm telling you what was reported, not putting words in his mouth. But here's what isn't in dispute. He kept wearing the headband. He kept thanking God. Whatever the paperwork did or didn't say, he did not go quiet. Paul wrote, "I am not ashamed of the gospel," Romans 1. Reportedly offered a fortune to be ashamed of it, and he wasn't. Moment number 4, and this one is beautiful, because it closes a circle that opened all the way back at moment 1. Cody Gakpo. April 2025, the match that clinches Liverpool the title. Gakpo scores, and he peels off his shirt, and underneath is an undershirt that reads, word for word, the same 4 words as Kaká's: "I belong to Jesus." 18 years later, the football authorities actually gave him a warning for taking his shirt off. He didn't flinch.
Everything we have, me and my family, and what I believe is everything we have is because of God. And I think without God, I believe without God, I wouldn't have everything I had today. So that's why I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
Everything we have, me and my family, is because of God. Without God, I wouldn't have everything I had today. So that's why I'm so grateful. And then he confirmed the thing every fan hoped was true, that he'd done it as a deliberate tribute to Kaká, and that the two of them had actually spoken about it afterward. And listen to what he says the whole point of it is.
The Bible says that's love. So love everybody, love yourself, love your neighbors, love your opponents, love everybody.
Love everybody. Love yourself. Love your neighbors. Love your opponents. Love everybody. Jesus said, "Let your light shine before others." Matthew 5. Kaká lit it in 2007. Gakpo carried it in 2025. All right, quick pause. If you're with me this far, I want to hear from you. Drop the name of the one who's surprised you the most so far in the comments. Just the name. I want to see who's catching people off guard. And if you love what this is about, the real stories of faith nobody else is covering, do me a favor and like this, share it, and leave a comment to help push it out to more people. Because the next 4 are where this goes from inspiring to absolutely stunning. Moment number 5. Olivier Giroud. France's all-time leading goal scorer, and maybe the most openly evangelistic man in the sport. He's got Psalm 23 tattooed down his arm in Latin. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." He's done the Alpha course. He stood in front of hundreds of thousands of young people and talked about Jesus. And when people ask him where his famous mental strength comes from, he doesn't give the sports psychology answer.
I used to say, when media ask me, where does your mental strength come from?
I used to answer, because Jesus, the Lord, is next to me. He's always looking after me.
And I used to answer, because Jesus, the Lord, is next to me, like he's always looking after me.
Every time I had to make a very, very important decision, I always pray a lot. I pray every day.
Every time I had to make a very, very important decision, I always pray a lot. I pray every day, but sometimes, there are some...
That's a man who took the verse taped up in every locker room in the world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4. And actually meant it. Not as a tattoo, as a strategy. Moment number 6. Lionel Messi. Maybe the greatest to ever touch a football. And a practicing Catholic who makes the sign of the cross before every match and points both hands to the sky after every goal he scores. You saw it after the biggest night of his life, and you can still see it right now. This summer, on the World Cup stage in America, when he scores, the first thing out of his mouth is the same thing it's always been.
No puedo pedir más de todo lo que recibí, como lo dije muchas veces, gracias a Dios me regaló demasiado y todo lo que viene ahora es...
As I've said many times, thank God he has given me so much. And everything that comes now is a blessing. He's not preaching, he's just grateful. Over and over, in public, at the very top of the mountain. He reportedly carries a rosary in his match bag. For a man who has won literally everything there is to win, his reflex isn't to grab the credit, it's to give thanks. Every good and perfect gift is from above. James 1. Moment number 7. And now there are 2 Ronaldos on this list. Because I'm not talking about the one you're waiting for. Not yet. This is the other Ronaldo. Ronaldo Nazário, the phenomenon. 2-time World Cup winner, the striker a whole generation of Brazilians grew up worshiping. And in September of 2023, at 46 years old, long after the boots were hung up, he was baptized into the church. His words came as a written statement, so we let them sit on the screen in his own hand, rather than putting a voice to them. But the heart of it was this, that faith had always been in him, and that being baptized made him feel, in his words, regenerated, made new. 46 years old. And I love that, because the world tells you the door eventually closes. Too late, too old, too far gone. Jesus told a story about workers hired at the very last hour of the day who received the exact same gift as everyone who'd worked since dawn. Matthew 20. Nobody is too late. Not even a 2-time World Cup winner who waited until 46. Which brings us, finally, to the answer this whole video's been building toward. Moment number 8. Cristiano Ronaldo. This is the one I've been building toward, and I need to set it up properly because the answer doesn't land unless you understand why it's so surprising. Ronaldo plays in Saudi Arabia now. He's photographed inside a culture the world assumes has nothing to do with the faith he grew up in, and a lot of casual fans quietly filed him away as a man who'd moved on from all of it. He did the exact opposite.
Since when I was young, I always learn, if you give, the God gonna give you the double. So this is what's happened in my life.
Listen to how he actually talks about it. I go to church every week. I'm Catholic, and I go to thank God for everything he gives me. I don't ask for anything. Thank God I have everything. I simply thank him for protecting my family and my friends. I don't ask for anything. I just go to say, thank you. Do you know how rare that is? 10 men were healed by Jesus in Luke 17. 10. Only 1 turned around and came back to say, thank you. And Jesus noticed the 1. Here's the most famous athlete on the planet, with everything a human being could ever chase already in his hands, driving to church every single week for no reason other than to be the 1 who came back. And it isn't for the cameras. He once mentioned, almost in passing, where the whole thing started for him. My dad always told me, if you help others, God will give you double. And in my life, it's happening. And in another interview, he lets slip something almost nobody expects, that he keeps a small chapel inside his own home. I have a small church down, a chapel, and I keep my daddy and my son. That's where he keeps the memory of his late father and the baby son he lost. Not a stage, not a camera. The most private room in the house of the most public man on earth, and he built it around God, his father, and his child. Now I want to be careful here, because I'm not going to do what some do. I'm not going to tell you Cristiano Ronaldo is saved. I'm not here to grade any man's soul. I don't know his heart. That's God's territory, not mine. What I can tell you is what he shows the world. Every week, no exceptions, going not to ask, but to thank. In a world that keeps telling him he's made himself into a god, he keeps driving to church to kneel in front of the real one. So look at what we've actually got here. 8 of the most famous, most worshipped athletes on the entire planet. Millions chanting their names. And when you strip away the trophies and the transfers and the noise, one drops to his knees the second the whistle blows. One heads in a miracle and points to his Father in heaven. One was reportedly offered a fortune to stay quiet and refused. One got warned by the authorities and did it anyway. One gives thanks at the very top of the world. One got baptized at 46. And one drives to church every single week just to say thank you. Paul said, run your race like you actually mean to win it. Everyone who competes goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. We do it to get one that will. 1 Corinthians 9. Every one of these men is chasing trophies that tarnish. They get lifted once and handed to somebody else next season. And every one of them is telling you, in his own way, that there's a bigger prize they're really running for. So here's my one question for you before you go. Kaká wore his on his chest. Gakpo wore the same 4 words 18 years later. What are you wearing underneath? When the whistle blows on your day, the ordinary one, the hard one, the one nobody's filming, who do you point to? Sit with that one. If this moved you, you know what to do. Like it, share it with someone who needs it, and tell me down in the comments, which of these 8 surprised you the most? I'll see you in the next one.